So my name is Amina Jasho. I am a researcher, a content creator, and a storyteller. I saw an article, I think, a couple of months back, or maybe last year, before I started having this conversation with HBS. And the article was, I think, in the paper, and it was basically about how women in certain situations are losing their lives because of lack of proper maternal health care. And so for me, that was like, my God, in 2020 or in 2019, women are still losing their lives because of lack of proper maternal health care. And I started doing a lot of research about it and like reading articles, reading books, talking to different women and just finding out like what can be done. But I didn't have the capacity, or I wasn't working anywhere at the time to see what I could do. So I was working on a separate project with HBS. And so we started having this conversation about women and motherhood. And at the time, we were working on a very, very feminist project. It was about patriarchy and how we need to dismantle some notions of patriarchy. So I was in that headspace of how we need to find feminist ways to have conversations. At the particular point in time, we're thinking very radically, very feminist ways of how we can have conversations around stereotypes around women and mothers. And so that's how it just basically happened. We had conversations and we were like, what if we did this? What if we started these conversations around myths that surround women, myths that surround women during pregnancy? How do we unpack that? How do we package it in a way that will resonate with the African woman? So I'm a communications person. And I think one of the things that we get wrong as comms people is that we sit and we think to ourselves, who's your intended audience? But then at the same time, you're thinking about yourself. So my intended audience was me. And that's the wrong way to look at things, because you can't speak to yourself. You can't speak to yourself, and which we generally do. When you do campaigns, when you do advertising, when you create a persona, and usually you'll be thinking about yourself. How will I consume this content? How will I, if it was me, what would I do with it? What would I say about it, you know? So in this instance, I would say my intended audience was kind of like me, someone who has gone through motherhood in a different way, someone who has had different experiences with their mother in a specific way, or their grandmother. So how do you navigate motherhood in a way that you or your sister or your mother, whatever content you create, you or your sister or your mother or your grandmother or your aunties or your friends in your circle will understand? So two ways. My intended audience was that mother who I was trying to reach. I would say suburban mother or urban mother, because thinking about social media, there's only so far that it can reach. But then also, I was my own audience, because this hit really close home for me. Yeah, but I was also thinking about my sisters. I was also thinking about my close friends who are also navigating this different pathway of motherhood in 2020, you know? There's so many things that women are going through right now that we don't get to talk about. We don't get to talk about how we have mom guilt. We don't get to talk about shaming, you know, mom shaming. We really, like, there's so many things. We don't talk about postpartum depression. You name it. We really don't get the chance to talk about it. And even when you do, you're shamed for it, like literally. So my intended audience was that woman who, as she's sitting here and watching this, says, these are the kind of conversations I want us to have. So if that did that for them, then I did my job. I've had so many different kinds of conversations with different women who have called, texted, emailed, saying, well done, good job. These are the kinds of conversations that we need to have. These are the kinds of things that we need to hear. These hard questions and these hard topics or themes that we are discussing right now, heavy topics, around, especially the one about like regretting being a mom, or like being unavailable as a mom, or having a mean narcissistic mother. I mean, no one wants to talk about those things. No one likes to hear about those things. But then again, why are we not having those conversations? Why are we not talking about them? So I feel at some point, and a couple of people have also challenged me to say, you know, now that we've had these conversations, what next? What happens? What do we do? What do we do? You've opened up wounds. You've opened up pathways, thinkings. What do we do with those? And so, yes, to answer your question, yes, we have had the opportunity for people to say, you know, that aha moment when you're like, oh my God, this is what I've been thinking, but no one has had the guts to come out and actually say it. And I don't think I have said this enough, but I thank the women who came forward and actually allowed themselves to be interviewed, because some of those things that came out of the content from the interviews, I don't personally think I would have gone on TV to say them. A lot of women have been sharing with us on DM about wanting to hear more about different topics. So either them sharing themselves or hearing about something, a particular topic from another woman. So that is also something that we are looking to do. And that's basically in my thinking about what next. And we definitely want to address specific, very heavy topics, postpartum depression being one of them. But yeah, like a lot of women have been asking us to share different kinds of themes or topics, and we are telling them, please feel free to send us any videos or any stories, so that someone else, wherever you're sitting, I want you to be that woman who hears my story or hears any of the women who are interviewed, their story, and I want you to go there and say, yeah, I resonate with that. And I'm glad that you said what you said, because I know that I'm not alone. So I'll tell you for free that nothing about this project was what I expected. So even me, I was like every week just waiting to see what this person would say about XYZ. And none of what they said was like, oh my God, I would never have thought about it that way. No matter how many times I would have even written a script, like every week I was just like, my mind was blown. And so a couple of things resonated really well with me. The first video that we put out, Momming Online, with Wangashi. Immediately she said about the reason why she stopped putting her children on TV, on social media. I was like, hi, yeah.
Then when I had Modoni, I think I waited like maybe 6 or 8 months before I posted her photo online. Anyway, one day I was in Carrefour, and then I recognized a daughter of a celebrity. And I was like, oh, that's so-and-so's daughter. Where is she? And that for me was it. That right there was the day I made my decision that I never want my child to be walking around somewhere and then someone says, that is so-and-so, where's the mom? I never want that to be her or to be him.
That literally, whatever she said about how when she was working in the supermarket and she recognized someone else's baby, that happened to me like 2 weeks before that. Someone walked by and recognized my daughter, and she said, say hi to mom. And then she came and told me, and I was like, who was it? Where is she? And she's like, she's gone. So in my head, I was thinking after that, and then I saw Wangashi's video and I was like, if she had just decided to go with that lady, I would never even have known. So that really resonated with me. And then I saw Maureen's video on regretting motherhood. And there's something that she said about how she checked out from being a mom for a whole year.
I looked at my life and I was like, I wake up, get the kids to school, come back, deal with household chores. I'd started a small farming business. And then I'm talking to my friends. People are busy advancing in their careers. Sijui who's moved to another country. Honestly, I was I hated my life. I completely hated my life. And I really started questioning my choices around having my children. And it became a very strong feeling of resentment. And I checked out. For a whole year, I just completely checked out. I told my husband, cheers, the children are now yours. May you guys have a good life.
In my head, I was like, that could never be me. And then I checked myself. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that has been you. Whether it's been a day, whether it's been 5 months, whether it's been 2 years, whether it's been 3 hours, there are days you check out of mommy. And immediately she said those things. I, by the way, judged her. In my head, I was just like, wow, why would you say such a thing in front of people? And that's the thing. Like, we are all human. We all do these things. We all want to, you know that thing about being your sister's keeper? Friend. That, like, sometimes it just dies. Like, it's, you just want to sit there and judge a fellow human being and not really checking yourself. Because I have checked out. Like, there are days when you're like, you know, I have work back to back. You've just left your child with your nanny. You've not even seen them for days and days on end during the week. You come back from work, you just go collapse in your bed. All you do is ask, amekula? Amelala vizuri? Ako sawa? You'll be like, amelala? Even you go sleep. 6 o'clock in the morning, you've left, you've not even seen your kids. The whole week, you've not seen your kids. Over the weekend, you're tired. Tell me if that's not checking out. It's a different version, but come on. So that really, really resonated with me because I have been that mom. All those women who are interviewed, there have been various versions of that mom. Even when Fannis was talking about her story, you know?
For me personally, it's not like I wanted children and then I decided I didn't. It's like I just never did, you know? And I feel that like you always have to like have all these reasons that X, Y, Z. And then I just decided like, no, actually, like I just never felt the desire to have them.
There was a time I didn't want to have kids. I never thought that I'd have kids. I didn't want kids. That was not my lifestyle. You know, that's not what I wanted with my life. But then that happened. So there was different versions of what resonated very well with me. The thing that also touched me the most, and I wish that we had so many different women talking about the regulation. What occurred to me, and this was now last year, it occurred to me that women and the spaces they're meant to have are afterthoughts. So when you design an office space, having a breastfeeding room is not the first thing that you think of. So during now last year, when I was telling you that I was thinking through about, you know, this motherhood business, it was actually brought on by that. The regulation of our bodies by other people, by men, if I can say that. By laws created by men, by laws that are passed by, you know, men. I mean, I started thinking about all of these maternal healthcare and maternal issues to do with breastfeeding rooms and also not having access to time to go and just literally, you know, if you're a breastfeeding mother and you need to express, you need to be given that time in your office, right? That's not time that people think about. Because even when you come back after 3 months, that 3-month-old baby needs to eat, needs to feed. So those are all the things that I was thinking about. And those are the things that actually resonated with me. When I spoke with Judy and she was telling me about, like literally blew my mind when she was telling me about, have you ever seen a lady watchman pregnant?
Most lady askaris, you'll find that they are wearing the same uniform that has been issued to their male counterparts, just that in different sizes. So you will find that they have an issue with the bust allowance. You'll have an issue with the hip allowance. Sometimes when they're given skirts, they're given the straight skirts. So those with hips, with wide hips, they have quite a serious challenge because they can never fit, or if they fit, the skirts keep on riding up. They end up being accused of dressing indecently or also exposing themselves to sexual harassment in the workplace. So what we are advocating for is conducive workwear. It's so simple, yet it's something that people don't know they do not have.
So there's no thinking around a pregnant woman or maternity around the workplace. And I could be wrong. There are different employers, different ways that people, different people in the workplace treat pregnant women. But from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, it's not the best. So what surprised me the most about the interviews, I would have to say Jerry's interview. And the reason I say that is because as much as she's my sister and my friend, I was very surprised by how candid she was and how vulnerable she was and how open she was with the things that she was saying.
Do you know, women, mothers are not supposed to say it, but there is a regret that when you're honest with yourself in your corner, in your room, by yourself, you have to look at it and you have to own it that, yes, I love my children. They're the most precious things that I have, but they came at the wrong time. They stopped me in advancing my career. They stopped me in doing what I had planned to do. Is that a bad thing? I don't know why society makes it a bad thing, because it's a human emotion. Like the same way if I buy a pair of shoes for 20K, they're nice, but why did I spend 20,000 buying those shoes? So same thing. So that I don't resent them, I had to deal with that emotion.
Really, like, some of the things that she was saying were so cringe to me. I was just like, oh my God, can you say that? Oh my God, what kind of backlash will we get by you saying some of those things? And the other one that surprised me in a very good way, and I'll tell you the story, it's because as we were trying to find interviewees for this project, the one that we were afraid we would never find were queer mothers. And again, I slapped myself on the wrist because of that. Because I thought they would never come out of the woodworks to speak their story. Just sitting there as we were interviewing Sylvia, I was just like, oh my God, there are people out here who believe in the fact that there is love, there's different kinds of love. She was so mature in her thinking, so much. She's like she lived like 25 other lives. Her composure and the way she lives her life with her child. I mean, queer or not, the thing that stood out for me was when she said,
because of how society has constantly oppressed us, I feel like we have nothing to do but be grounded in the positive things that we want for ourselves and our children. Because of how society refuses to accept us as individuals, what we have to do is the children that we have, we raise them in a way that you need to understand that, Babs, people are constantly going to maybe say harmful things to you because of who I am. But me, I'm teaching you to be a wholesome being. I'm teaching you how to love. I'm teaching you all that you need to do to be a good individual. I'm teaching you that there is more than just heterosexual people in this society. You will meet people who I don't even identify as. And even me, I'm constantly learning. So this is how you need to be, so to make sure that you respect everybody.
she's not trying to make queer parents don't parent differently, you know. And those are the insights that we're trying to show people. And even me, I was just like, did you expect her to have horns? Did you expect her to tell you that, you know, she beats her child in the dark or something like that? What did you expect? So those are the aha moments that I'm hoping that other people felt when they were watching the videos. And because that happened to me as well. What we are attempting to do, what I was attempting to do, is not bash mothers. We're not bashing women. We're not trying to tell women and mothers that don't be mothers or, you know, regret being mothers or, you know, that's not what we're trying to do. Unmothering the woman is giving the woman space to be both. We are giving women the opportunity to say, by God, I don't want to mom today. It's too difficult. Without another person shaming you. Without another person giving you guilt. We're trying to remove those stereotypes of mothering and motherhood from the African woman. You are not a superwoman. You really aren't. There are times when you will fall. There are times when you will falter. There are times when you will be a shitty spouse. You'll be a shitty mom. And what we are telling you is that it's okay. When you fall, fall. Take 2 days to recover from your fall. Dust yourself off and maybe pick up from where you left off. And that's okay. Those are the things that we're trying to say. We don't have room. We don't have the space to actually say those things. So what's next is we have created this space on Facebook. We have 4,000 followers on our Facebook group. We've started these conversations, first of all. There's awareness that there's some things that need to change. There is a big gap we have seen that there's a big gap in how women are telling their stories. So however they tell their stories, maybe they're in silos. Is there a place where we can gather 1 million strong women speaking the same language, saying the same thing, and we're able to create some sort of change? Is that the vision? I think that's my vision. I want us to stand up and say, I want change. I want change in how I want to run my life. I want to see change in how, my office does things. Be that person who goes into your office and says, we need a lactation room. We need maternity leave. Be that person who, if you're fired on maternity leave, figure out a way to say something, because you can come onto the group and ask for labor lawyers. I'm sure they are. You can talk to Judy, who is one of our interviewees, who is a labor lawyer. So what next is, I'm hoping that we can continue having these conversations. We can create a support network for women through the group. There is a strong need for, and women are there. They want to be heard. They want to say their piece. So many people have come to us and said, I wish I could tell my story. So either anonymously or not.
What was hard was hearing all the stories of women who are feeling seen and feeling that the space we have created for them is safe enough for them to share, even privately, what their experience has been. And the crippling feeling of, I don't know how to help you. I mean, us talking about it is definitely the first step to you getting the help that you need. But then beyond that conversation, I don't know how to help you. I can try and redirect you to resources and whatnot, but I don't know what to do. So I think creating that community, because I'm sure other women would know where a woman like that can get the help that they need. So it would be amazing to see women in the community coming through for each other, coming to support each other and help each other. And we've had a bit of that with one of the ladies we interviewed about regretting motherhood, Maureen. We received some feedback from a woman who felt like her life, I mean, she was just going through the motions, and now she's having her third child and she doesn't know what to do. She's feeling stuck, and that moved Maureen so much that Maureen was able to reach out and attempt to support this lady at that point that she is in, simply because she could relate to what it felt like to being that person in that situation. And we're just hoping that in this community, women will be able to support each other like that. Women will be able to point each other in the direction of help, because as a project right now, we don't have all the answers. We would like to start the conversation so that people can get help and people speak to each other and support each other, but we don't have the answers, and sometimes that's a tough part of working on this project.
hopefully we will be able to do, to create more stories, to create more awareness of what's happening with women right there. But at the end of it all, at the end, the very, very end of it all, as a feminist to my core, I want us to dismantle stereotypes. I want us to stop shaming, stop prescribing your view of motherhood on me. I want us to stop doing that. I want us to support our sister, be your sister's keeper. If you're seeing that she's faltering as a mom, instead of telling her what you think she should do, help her. I think that's literally all I want us to do for each other at this particular moment.
I think for anyone who's playing the role of a mother is to be gentle and be gracious with yourself. It's hard, it's rough, it builds you up, it tears you down, it gives you so much imposter syndrome. So I think be gentle with yourself, extend the same grace to yourself as you would to a new mother or to a fellow mother. Extend the same grace to yourself because you're gonna mess up, but then realizing it's not the end, correcting it, moving forward, and you always know what's best for your child.
As a society, I think we should just thank ourselves on what it means to be human. So whenever we have a choice to make, it's, do we allow people to live their freedom? Do we allow other human beings to love each other? And then do we aim to increase our knowledge? I think those are the three things I don't know, anchor my whole life on now.
Because I am a mother, I should act in a certain way. I call BS on all that. And just by the fact that we keep pushing for it, consciously or subconsciously, we just need to have these conversations more often so that more of us can wake up and see that this is not the be it all, This is not the peg or the hole that you're in. You can actually put off that hat and continue without feeling guilty or feeling begrudged because that's not what you want to do.
Just be you, do you. Live your life. Don't be dictated by what society thinks or has come up with because of tradition and culture. Do you. And just live. Oh my gosh, just live. Enjoy the music. Have fun. Celebrate what God has given you for free. Like, I just took that for free. Celebrate that. Yeah.
Let's keep talking. What next? I don't know. We just need to keep having these conversations, I think, until it becomes normal to say, I am struggling. Until it becomes normal to say, this is the choice I have made for my life. And that is accepted for what it is. I mean, as long as you're not doing something that's, I don't know, detrimental to your life or, you're not a murderer or anything like that. Choices that are simply opinions of how you choose to live your life should be respected for what they are. Choices that do not endanger your life or the life of the people around you, the people you love, should really be accepted for what they are. I mean, choosing to wear a blue shirt versus a white shirt shouldn't be. I'm hoping some of the choices women are making could be viewed in the same light. Not because they are not important choices, but because women have the agency to determine for themselves what they want their lives to look like, and that should be okay.
We still need to figure out a way where we can be kind to each other. We still need to be those people who, if you don't like something, move on. You don't need to say something, You really don't have to talk down to that queer mom. Let her mom the way she wants. So, so that at the very root of whatever you carry out from this campaign, that should be it. Yeah.